You know that feeling, right?
Mm.
You hear a new English word, maybe see it written down.
Mm-hmm.
You look it up, you think, okay, got it. Maybe you even like try to use it once or twice.
Poof! Gone.
Exactly. It just evaporates.
Yeah.
It's like your brain hits a delete button you didn't even know was there.
It's super common, that frustration.
Well, if that sounds familiar to you, you're definitely in the right place today.
Yeah.
We're doing a deep dive into why that happens and maybe more importantly, how to actually make those English words stick
Right.
forever.
And it's interesting because it's usually not about having a bad memory.
Right.
Our discussion today, it's drawing heavily on this guide called How to Remember English Vocabulary Forever.
Oh, okay.
And it really shows there are like specific reasons why we forget, cognitively speaking.
And specific techniques to counter that.
Exactly. Powerful techniques to really anchor those words.
Good. So the goal here isn't just, complaining about words disappearing.
Yeah.
We want to give you a real understanding of what's going on under the hood, so to speak. And crucially, hand over some practical, proven strategies, things you can actually do to build a vocabulary that lasts.
Think of it like getting the keys, maybe. The keys to unlock that long-term language memory.
I like that. Keys to the memory vault. We're hoping for some real aha moments for you listening.
Yeah, strategies that feel empowering, not, overwhelming.
Right. It's about moving from just kind of bumping into words to actually owning them, making them part of your active toolkit.
And the guide we're using, it really emphasizes that forgetting isn't failure. It's more like a signal.
A signal to maybe switch things up, change the approach.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about how we learn, not just our innate ability.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. Part 1. Tackling that big question. Why do words seem to slip away so easily?
Yeah. Where did they go?
The guide kicks off with a principle that sounds almost too simple, but it's huge.
Yeah.
Use it or lose it.
It really is fundamental, isn't it? It taps into how our brains prioritize things.
How so?
Well, basically, the brain strengthens connections for stuff we use often.
Okay.
And it sort of lets the connections for things we don't use just weaken, fade away.
Like pruning a plant, getting rid of the unused branches.
Exactly like that. The guide uses the word elated, meaning, super happy.
Right.
If you learn elated, but then you never say it, never write it.
Your brain kind of shrugs and thinks, guess this wasn't important.
Pretty much. Those specific brain pathways for elated just don't get reinforced, so they fade.
Okay, use it or lose it. Makes total sense.
What's next?
The guide also mentions passive learning.
Ah, yes. The passive trap.
I think a lot of us do this, right? Like watching movies in English, reading articles.
Mm-hmm. And you understand the gist, you follow the story.
Yeah, but you're not actively doing anything with the new words you see or hear.
And there's a massive difference between just understanding a word in context.
Like seeing perplexed and knowing it means confused.
Right. Understanding it then versus actively, say, trying to use perplexed later, or even just thinking about how it's different from confused or baffled.
So without that active step, the memory trace is flimsy.
Very flimsy. The brain hasn't really gotten the signal to properly save it. It's just floated past.
Okay, so just being around the language isn't enough. You got to participate.
You got to engage.
Which leads nicely into the next point. Memorizing without connection. Oh, this one hit home for me.
The endless word lists.
Totally. Trying to just hammer words into your brain by repeating them. Rote learning. Right.
Exactly, rote learning. Memorization just through repetition. And the big problem is it usually lacks, everything memory loves.
Like what?
Context, personal meaning, stories, feelings. The guide uses abate, meaning to lessen,
Okay.
and bellicose, meaning aggressive. If you just try to memorize abate lesson, bellicose aggressive from a list.
They're just floating facts, no anchor.
Precisely. There's no story, no image, no feeling attached. So they're incredibly easy to forget. Memory thrives on connections.
Yeah, it's like remembering a random string of numbers versus, I don't know, your best friend's phone number.
Exactly. One has meaning, connection, use. The other doesn't.
Okay. And the last big reason for forgetting the guide mentions trying to cram too much in at once.
The information overload. We've all been there.
Trying to learn like 50 words the night before a test.
Yeah. And our brains just can't handle it effectively. It's like trying to funnel Niagara Falls into a teacup.
Good analogy.
Some of it just overflows and gets lost. The guide really champions short, consistent, daily learning.
Little and often beats massive, infrequent sessions.
Absolutely. Trying to absorb dozens or even hundreds of words in one go is just, well, it's inefficient for long-term retention.
Okay, so we've got a handle on why we forget. Not using words, passive learning, no connections, and overload.
The culprits.
Now for the good stuff. How do we actually remember vocabulary? Make it stick.
This is where it gets really practical.
The guide starts with something called the 3X rule. Sounds intriguing. What is it?
It's actually quite elegant, and it uses multiple senses. So the 3X rule for every new word. Step 1, see it. Read the word in a sentence.
Okay. See it.
Step 2, say it. Speak the word in the sentence out loud.
Got it. Say it.
And step 3, write it. Create your own sentence using the word.
See it, say it, write it. 3X.
Exactly. The guide uses serene, peaceful, calm.
Okay.
So you might see it. The lake looks serene at sunrise. Then you say that sentence aloud.
The lake looks serene at sunrise.
And then you write your own. Maybe meditating helps me feel serene.
I like that. It hits the word from different angles: visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Exactly. That multi-sensory processing creates a much, much stronger memory trace than just, say, reading the definition. It's really active.
Active, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. The next technique seems related: connecting words to personal memories.
Oh, this one's powerful. It leverages the link between emotion and memory.
How does that work?
Well, think about elated. Again, very happy. The guide suggests you actively link that word to a specific time you felt elated.
Like maybe when I got my first job. Or saw my favorite band.
Perfect. You visualize that moment, feel that happiness again, and consciously connect it to the word elated.
So you're attaching a strong personal feeling to the word.
Exactly. It gives the word an emotional anchor in your mind, making it far more memorable than just a definition.
Like a mental tag.
Yeah.
Okay. The guide also stresses learning words in sentences, not just isolated words.
Yes. This is so crucial. So many of us, myself included back in the day, just learned lists. Ambiguous, unclear.
Yeah, me too. Guilty.
But that doesn't really tell you how to use ambiguous, does it?
Not really.
Seeing it in a sentence like, the instructions are ambiguous, so I wasn't sure what to do, shows you how it works in practice.
How it fits with other words, the grammar.
Exactly. That context is vital for both remembering the meaning and being able to use the word correctly yourself.
Okay, context is king. Now next up, spaced repetition. I've heard of this. It sounds strategic.
It is very strategic. It's based on something called the forgetting curve.
The what now?
The forgetting curve. It's just the idea that we naturally forget stuff over time, especially new stuff.
Makes sense. Things fade.
But if you review the information at just the right moments, specifically, at increasing intervals, you fight that forgetting process.
Okay, so how does it work in practice? What's the schedule?
The guide suggests a simple one to start. Learn the word on day 1, review it on day 2,
Okay, next day.
then again on day 4, then day 7, and then maybe around day 15.
So the gaps get bigger each time. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then about a week.
Exactly. You're basically refreshing the memory just as it's starting to fade, which pushes it further into long-term storage.
That's clever. It interrupts the forgetting.
Precisely. And the great thing is, as the guide mentions, there are apps for this, like Enki or Quizlet.
Oh, they handle the scheduling for you.
Yep. You put the words in, and the app tells you when to review them based on the spaced repetition algorithm. Takes the guesswork out.
That's brilliant. That removes a huge barrier. Okay, spaced repetition apps. Got it. What else? Grouping similar words.
Yeah, this taps into how our brains love patterns.
We like organizing things.
We do. So grouping words with similar meanings helps the brain categorize and retrieve them more easily. The guide suggests grouping words for happiness, for instance.
Like elated, joyous, ecstatic.
Gleeful, cheerful, yeah. Putting them together helps you see the nuances and remember the whole set better.
So you could make like a mind map or a chart.
Absolutely. Visual aids like that are super effective for reinforcing these semantic groups. It's like building a better mental filing system.
I like that. A tidy mental filing cabinet.
Right.
Okay, and the last big strategy in this section, daily active usage. This feels like coming full circle to use it or lose it.
It absolutely is, but it's the proactive side of it. It's about consciously finding ways to use the words.
How? Like forcing them into conversation.
Well, yes, speaking is great, but also writing emails, a journal, anything. And even just thinking in English.
Thinking in English, how does that work?
Like, try describing your day to yourself or your plans using the new words you're learning. Say you learned meticulous, very careful, detail-oriented.
Okay.
You could think, okay, I need to be meticulous about packing this suitcase, or tell a friend about a meticulous colleague, or write in your journal about wanting to be more meticulous.
So actively weaving it into speaking, writing, and internal thought.
The more you actively engage with it, the deeper that memory goes.
Okay, wow. So those are the core strategies. The guide then gives more examples, right? To really see them in action.
Yeah, it walks through a few more words to show how you can combine these techniques. Let's take ephemeral.
Ephemeral, meaning short-lived,
Yeah.
fleeting.
Exactly, lasting only a short time. So instead of just the definition,
You use the 3X rule. See it, say it, write it.
you could start there. See it. Our summer holiday felt ephemeral but wonderful. Say that.
Our summer holiday felt ephemeral but wonderful.
Then maybe make a personal link. Think of something beautiful but brief you experienced.
Like cherry blossoms in spring. Or a really good sunset.
Perfect. Connect ephemeral to that feeling, that image, and then practice using it. Maybe say, yeah, the beauty of those flowers is ephemeral, isn't it?
So you're layering the techniques, sentence, personal link, active use.
Exactly. It makes the learning much richer and stickier.
Okay. What about eloquent? Fluent, persuasive speaking. How do we connect with that?
The guide suggests visualizing someone you find eloquent, maybe a famous speaker, a teacher, anyone.
Okay, got it.
Then see it in a sentence. Her speech was eloquent and inspiring. And then maybe connect it to a goal.
Like, I want my English presentations to be more eloquent.
Exactly. That personal aspiration makes the word meaningful to you. It's not just abstract anymore.
Makes sense. Connecting to admired figures or personal goals.
Nice.
And inevitable. Certain to happen. Seems like a good one for memory tricks.
It is. The guide points out the common phrase, death and taxes are inevitable. That's a strong pre-existing hook.
Ah, yeah, everyone knows that one.
Or it suggests getting creative, maybe even a bit silly. Make a funny sentence.
Like,
Running out of phone battery is inevitable if you forget your charger.
Yeah.
Or, my dog stealing my socks seems inevitable.
Okay, so using humor or strong associations.
Yeah, anything that creates a vivid, memorable mental image or triggers a little emotion, it makes the word harder to forget.
Right, the funnier or stranger, the stickier it might be.
Yeah.
Okay, so that covers learning new words really well. But what about words we, used to know?
The ghost vocabulary, words you learned, but now they're gone when you need them.
Yeah. That's so
That's
true.
right.
Does the guide tackle that?
It does. And the main reason is usually simple. Lack of use again. You stopped using them, so they faded back.
Use it or lose it strikes again.
But the good news is often those memories aren't totally gone. They just need reactivating.
Okay, so how do we wake them up?
The guide recommends setting aside a little time each week. Maybe 15 minutes on a Sunday.
Just 15 minutes. That's doable.
Yeah. Pick maybe 10 older words you feel shaky on. Then write new sentences for them, different ones than before.
Okay, fresh context.
And say those new sentences out loud. It helps bring them back to the surface.
Simple, but sounds effective. Just a quick weekly refresh.
Another suggestion is to consciously mix the old words with the new ones you're learning.
How would that work?
Let's say you just learned conundrum, a tricky problem, and you already know difficult.
Okay.
Try making a sentence using both. Solving this conundrum is difficult, but I think we can do it.
I see. So you're linking the new word conundrum to a familiar one, difficult, in a real context.
Exactly. It reinforces both and shows how they fit together in your overall vocabulary.
Cool. And one more for reviving old words. Something about stories.
Yeah, get creative. Try weaving a few of those older words into a very short story or narrative.
Instead of just sentences.
Yeah, make it more engaging. The guide gives an example using serene, jubilant, which means overjoyed and inevitable. Like, she felt jubilant crossing the finish line. Later, sitting by the serene lake, she reflected that this success felt inevitable after all her training.
Oh, nice. That makes reviewing feel less like a chore and more like play.
Exactly. It's creative, contextual, and much more memorable than just looking at a list again.
Okay, fantastic. So we have ways to learn new words, ways to revive old ones. Are there any final, power-up tips?
The guide offers a few quick hitters to really supercharge things. First, visual flashcards.
Not just word and definition.
No, draw a picture or find an image online. Engage that visual memory. It's powerful.
Okay, visual flashcards. What else?
Teach someone else. If you explain a new word to a friend, or even just pretend to, it forces you to understand it deeply.
The best way to learn is to teach. Got it.
Also, talk to yourself in English.
Like out loud, narrating my day.
Yeah, describe what you're doing, what you see. Okay, I'm chopping these vegetables quite meticulously. Use your words. It's low pressure practice.
Okay, self-talk. Makes sense. Any others?
Join vocabulary challenges. Online, with friends, whatever. Adds fun, accountability.
A bit of friendly competition?
Can definitely help. And keep a word diary. Just a notebook where you jot down new words, reviewed words, example sentences each day.
Like a logbook for your vocabulary journey.
Exactly. Tracks progress, reinforces learning. And the final, maybe most crucial tip.
Let me guess. Be patient.
Be patient and consistent. Vocabulary building is a marathon, not a sprint.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Nope. The guide uses a great analogy. It's like growing a plant. You need daily watering that's practice and regular sunlight that's exposure to English.
Little bits of effort, day after day.
That's the secret. Steady, consistent effort yields amazing results over time. No magic wand, just smart habits.
Okay. And to make it feel less daunting, the guide even maps out a possible daily routine, right? Like super short.
Yeah, just a 20-minute mini plan to show how you can fit this in.
Okay, break it down for us. 20 minutes, all right.
5 minutes, review 5 old words. Quick refresh.
Okay, 5 minutes, 5 old words.
Next 5 minutes, learn 2 new words using that 3X rule. See it, say it, write it.
5 minutes, 2 new words.
Got it. Then 5 minutes, write a few short sentences mixing those old and new words together.
Okay, mixing them up and writing.
And finally, 5 minutes, speak those sentences out loud. Practice the pronunciation, the flow.
5 minutes speaking. So 5, 5, 5, 5, 20 minutes total.
Yep. Covers review, new learning, writing, speaking. Hits all the key areas in a manageable chunk of time.
Wow. It really puts it into perspective. Just 20 minutes a day consistently.
Could make a massive difference long term. It shows the power of that steady strategic effort.
So bringing it all back, that initial frustration, forgetting words,
It's normal. Everyone experiences it.
but it's not like inevitable.
Definitely not. If you understand why it happens and you consciously use these techniques,
The 3X rule, personal links, context, spaced repetition, active use, review.
you absolutely can overcome it. You can build that lasting, usable vocabulary you want.
Yeah. Imagine that feeling, speaking English, feeling confident, having the words just, be there when you need them.
It's totally achievable. It's not about some special talent.
It's about smart learning, consistent practice, making it a habit.
Absolutely. Which leads us to a final thought for you listening.
Okay.
Think about all these techniques we've discussed. Which one, maybe just one, really resonates with your learning style? And how could you integrate just that one technique into your routine, starting, say, today or tomorrow? What single small change do you think could make the biggest difference for your vocabulary retention?